G'day guys, welcome to another episode of It's a Dogger's Life. I'm Chris Booby. Thanks again for watching. If you're new to the channel, please hit the like button and subscribe down below. Also hit the bell notifications, that way it'll give you a bit of an idea of when we put our videos out. You'll be the first one to check them out. We're just on farm here today. We're just putting out some trail cameras. The farmer's noticed a bit of activity around again. He's got some calves due soon in the next paddock over, so we're just having a look around this paddock here. These smaller places are always a bit tougher to trap on, in my opinion, because the dogs aren't here all the time. They just travel through, so I use a lot of trail cameras in this situation. Go and whack a camera up here at this intersection up the top here. It's always been a good spot, but everything's changed. We've had a lot of rain through here, and this little washout here was normally a track here, so sometimes little things like this can actually change the activity of where the dogs travel. So I'm going to put my camera on this little tree here, facing across this intersection. That's the tree there where I normally trap off. Got a track running down here. Used to go across there and over that bit of a crossing that used to be there, but it's all washed out now. So it'll be interesting to see if the dog activity's changed. I did see some fresh prints just down there on that trail, so I'd say they're still using it. Anyway, this scrub runs around right around the edge here as well. This a bit of a track, runs around the edge of this scrub here too, so it's always a really good intersection. I think what will happen is the dogs will come and they'll mark this tussock here. It just sort of stands out a little bit, so they're the sorts of things that I look for out. If I come to this intersection, let my dog out, it's going to mark that tussock. Watch your dogs if you've got farm dogs or working dogs or whatever, or even a pet dog. If you bring them out looking for sign with you, if you let your dogs out of the ute, watch where they go, because that's a really good indicator where to put traps actually, because they'll show you where other dogs have been, you know. And I can nearly guarantee, I wish I had a dog here just to show you that, but I reckon that tussock there is going to be the spot. But anyway, we'll put this camera up and we'll find out. So I've whacked another camera up here on this tree here. You just see it there. It's heading across this track, one that runs down the power lines here. I just noticed here this morning though, looks like something's got to a possum. Bit of a possum tail there, so they've obviously been around. Obviously I can tell that there's, you know, he's said that there's been activity and I can see fresh prints, but the reason I'm mainly using trail cameras is, especially these days with time, what I try and do is monitor an area before I go and put traps in. First of all, to make sure that the dogs are coming through there regularly, at least, you know, once if not twice a week, before I worry about putting traps in, because I found that over the years of just putting traps in on the first set of sign, the dogs might not come back for a month, you know, so they might only be there once a month. So there's, in my opinion, there's probably not much use putting traps in and checking them every day when the dogs are coming through once a month on these smaller places. You spend a lot of time checking traps and driving around, and usually probably more than likely putting your scent, you know, everywhere for no reason. Where if you've got SMS cameras, it's a different story. You can put SMS cameras up over your traps, which is a fantastic thing as well to be able to do. But you know, on these smaller places, sometimes the dogs only come through once a month. So at least if you've got a couple of cameras up, you can actually monitor that and then put your traps in to suit when the dogs are going to be there, because usually you'll find that there'll be a bit of a pattern where they're coming through, and you'll be able to tailor your trapping time to when the dogs are going to be there, which is always the best way to do it. So we just whacked this camera on this post here, just a corner post, as you can see, covering this intersection. We've got the power line track that runs up there, And then we've got that one that runs down through the scrub there, and then this main one that comes around behind me here. So when I put my trail cameras in, I try and face them slightly on a bit of an angle facing down, as you can see. I just found that if you do that, it tends to, especially if it rains and things, it just tends to protect the lenses a little bit. They won't fog up as much. Sometimes you find that these lenses on these cameras, if we get a bit of moisture in the air, will actually fog up. For some reason when we do this, it tends to just stop that from happening a bit. Also try and cover the whole intersection. Obviously it's very hard, you know, this is the only post around, as you can see. It's just such a good intersection that it really needs a camera on it. So I just put it so it faces, you know, multiple tracks coming into one, which is usually a good spot to see where dogs are traveling. Gateways are also another good location for cameras. Just make sure when you put your strap on, you don't put them around the gate. Obviously. Back here checking these cameras on this place. It's always it's why it's such a good idea to be able to get around and check the cameras a couple of days into it. So out of the, I think I put 5 or 6 cameras up here, only 2 of them actually got pictures of anything because the cattle had been in and mucked with the cameras. One camera, the card didn't work properly. So, you know, there's always something to consider. So it's always good to be able to just maintain the cameras as well. I'll just show you our new little dog. It's a little Ollie. Oleander. Checking him. You find him, darling. First day on the job. Good girl. You find him. Good girl. Yeah, the other thing I was just going to mention is just take note when you come onto these places of the activity of the native animals, if there's any, and also the livestock that are on the property. We got here today and there's a heifer in with a couple of bulls that's not meant to be in here. The other thing I noted on this place is there's not one wallaby, not one sign of koalas or even possums. I couldn't find any possum prints, so you just take note of all that sort of thing too, because that's usually a good indication that there's dogs around when there's no wildlife on here.
I can't do nothing with you.
So we've had a bit of success on this corner here. We caught a fox here last night. So I reset that trap, and then 9 o'clock this morning this one come in. Bit of persistence pays off. Got a dog in the trap. Take care of it. Little mangy bitch. say we'd be doing her a favour. Far out. Alright, look at that. Another one, another day, another dog. Gotta love that. But anyway, there was a heap of blood still on the track from the one yesterday. And I reset this trap. This has been a good spot here. It's near the rain gauge. You probably notice it. I've been trapping here for a few years now. And this power line is always produced. It doesn't matter if you get all the dogs out of an area, you always go back to the same spots. If you continue to trap on a property, always go back to the spots that are producing, because they just keep producing. It's just the way they are. They just follow those same routes no matter what. It's only a little place, this. It's only about 300 acres, so it's unbelievable how many dogs it produces though.